Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sammy. I talk about spooky, freaky places that you can go visit and the paranormal experiences people have had at these places. So today we're in Alabama in a town called Hartselle. So this freaky place has a place called Crybaby Hollow Bridge. From the pictures that I've seen, it looks pretty creepy and run down. I've never visited this place because I don't live in Alabama. But if I did, I don't know if I would. So the legends behind Crybaby Hollow Bridge start out by saying there's been research done and there's nothing to back these legends. Obviously, it being called Crybaby Hollow Bridge, it's going to be surrounded by a baby. They're all going to surround children. And they all take place kind of in different timelines. So the first one is going to start out by being before European settlements happened. Native Americans lived on this land. And as a big storm, lots of rain, flooding happened, and it swept the baby from this family that lived there, swept the baby away, and it was never to be seen again. This next legend is about a family crossing over the bridge in a wagon, and as they had crossed over the bridge, it was kind of bumpy and the wagon tipped over, and the baby fell out and got swept away by the river underneath. And the next little story behind Crybaby Hollow Bridge is there was a car accident that had happened on the bridge, and as the car fell into the river running underneath the bridge, the baby had passed away. It said that the mother had also passed away too, but it's kind of like iffy on all the details in there. All the details are kind of iffy in these stories. Those are like three of the main little urban legends behind this place. They also say during the Civil War, as the army kind of moved into the area, to kind of like show dominance, they killed the mother of the child, and then out of mercy, they killed the child as well. Which, don't do that. What the heck? As I was doing my research behind this place, I also heard a story of a Mr. Heyman, but when I did research behind Mr. Heyman, I didn't find anything behind Mr. Heyman. I thought that was kind of weird, because they said that they did research around Mr. Heyman as well. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Heyman. So, he was apparently a serial killer that worked in the area. They said with their research, they found gruesome images and stories behind his, like, killings. Ew. They said that they found, like, human skin accessories in Mr. Heyman's house. They found pictures of his victims. And I guess he'd use the bridge as like a dumping ground for his victims' bodies. Absolutely not. So the first paranormal story I have for you. Two friends had gone to this bridge pretty often. And every time they'd go, nothing would happen. Like, they'd just kind of be a little freaked out. Nothing serious. 1 to 3 times a week, they went over to this bridge and never had experienced anything strange. Then one night seemed a little bit eerier than the other nights. And as they were walking up to the bridge, they heard a girl scream. They waited for a second and then heard nothing else. So they booked it. The person telling this story said that they thought it was weird because if they were screaming for help, why would they just scream once? And that's what really freaked them out. They usually would psych themselves out, but it never was like an eerie feeling. They always just, like, they knew it was a haunted place. They knew the legends behind it, but it was never, like, freaky to go there. So this group of friends would also go to the bridge pretty often. They said they didn't usually experience anything too weird either, Which, I mean, how often can you really expect the paranormal side to be like, oh, today I'm gonna just freak people out? Like, I don't know, if I was a spirit, I wouldn't make it a full-time job to scare the locals. So as they were coming up to the bridge, they noticed that there was a baby doll chilling on the bridge. And they were like, well, what the heck? And as a joke, I don't know what's so funny about throwing the baby doll into the water, but two of the friends went to pick up the baby doll and was kind of like taunting the other people with it, and they ended up throwing the baby doll into the river. When they had gone back 2 days later, the baby doll was back on the bridge, and they just booked it out of there because... what? I don't know. Seems kind of creepy, kind of spooky to me. So these people took a little drive down to Crybaby Hollow Bridge. And as they drove over the bridge with their Jeep, it was shaking more than usual. I don't know how Jeeps work, but if my Jeep was shaking at all, I ditched the car. And they were like, you know what? Let's do it again, just for funsies. This time they went over the bridge a little bit slower. And as they crossed over the bridge with the windows down just a little bit, they heard train noises in the distance. And it was coming closer and closer and closer to them. And as soon as they crossed the bridge, they were gone. Which, I don't know how creepy that is to me, because they said as they were driving around they didn't see any train tracks anywhere. But through my little sleuthing, I did find that there was train tracks just like down the road from the bridge. But Google Mapsing doesn't really count as a reliable source to me, because you actually have to check it out. So in this next story is what really freaked me out. So this girl had been living right down the street from Crybaby Hollow Bridge. So as a young girl, her parents would cross the bridge often. She says Crybaby Hollow Bridge is freaky. Even as a child, as they'd cross over the bridge to go home, she'd roll up her windows and like make sure all the doors were locked to keep out the negative energy. She said she'd experience a nightmare every single night where a man would creep up behind a mother holding her child, and as he would get closer and closer, he'd start transforming into a very negative, ugly-looking demon. I already filmed the story, but then I realized that my camera wouldn't the recording wouldn't flip to horizontal. It was vertical. Vertical is this way, right? And as I was editing the video, every time I'd stop or I'd have a pause in between what I was saying, it would stop at, I can't even say it. It freaks me out so bad. So I'm gonna this is what it would stop at. Freaky, right? And I don't want to say what the evil entity actually turned into, because I don't know what it is about the story, but it freaks me out so bad. And after seeing how long I'd pause in between whatever I was saying, I was like, when I refilm this, I'm gonna be counting so that it doesn't happen again, because oh my god, freaky. I'm shaking right now, it's so freaky. Okay, so she said she'd just wake up terrified every single night before she could see what this man ended up doing to the family. And she'd go running into her mom's room Mom, it happened again. And her mom hated seeing her daughter going through this. So they ended up moving into their grandma's house away from the bridge, just to escape from this negative whatever the heck was going on. And no, I don't feel more confident today telling this story, because it still just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Is that even said anymore? Do people say heebie-jeebies? A woman and her husband were driving down the road one night, and she identifies as an empath / medium. She can communicate with the other side and feel things. So yes, because she can communicate and feel things, which I totally believe in mediums and empaths and just anything that communicates with the other side. Me and my boyfriend were watching Lucifer the other day, and I don't want to do too much spoiling if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know, I feel It's so bad, but watching Lucifer makes me almost believe that the devil isn't so bad. Like, there's something about Lucifer that you just love. If you've watched Lucifer and you got to know Lucifer, like, what are your thoughts on him? Like, anyway, we were watching Lucifer and they were in for a reading or like to ask her questions. And Lucifer was like, oh my goodness, she's so good. Like, she knows everything.
And my boyfriend was like, that'd be us if we ever went to like a medium, because you believe absolutely everything. Which, for the record, I don't. Hi, future editing Sam here. I don't know what happened to my video, and it was a camera malfunction, and it cut out everything that I was saying. So I'm just gonna pop on here and tell you. So, as the medium and her husband were driving down the hill, she was overcome with emotion of just a lost mother. She was sad, she was hurt, she was lost. She sensed the dates 1940 to 1960. Back to me talking to you.
Was I not talking that whole time? Whatever. The times where Mr. Heyman was supposed to be doing whatever he was up to. So as they reached the bottom, they got out of the car and kind of started walking around. And as they came closer and closer to the cabin in the area, she just felt this negative energy just come over her. And she was terrified. She was like, I can't go any further. Like, I'm not about that. So as they were leaving, she felt the motherly energy stay with them until they got back to their house. And she felt the need to help the mother and help her cross over. So she turned on the EMF reader and she was communicating with the mother. And she said, hello, in a woman's voice, super clearly. And she was like, yep, it's her. And then she started saying, it's okay, go be with your family, and she heard the woman say heaven. She believes that she helped the mother as much as she possibly could. So now when you go there, you won't be having this motherly spirit, like, keep you safe. Another thing that I heard happens at this place is if you leave full candy bars just wrapped up, the next day when you go back, they'll be unwrapped and have a bite taken out of them. Which, I don't believe that one bit. I definitely 100% feel like it's some rando person like, oh yeah, if you leave candy here, freaky things happen. I think it's just some rando dude being like, Halloween every day, trick or treat. I'ma trick you and I'ma get a treat, you know? So don't be littering over at this bridge because it's not taken care of anyway. And why would they leave candy to appease the spirits? Like, what spirits, like, yeah, in my afterlife, all I want to do is eat candy and get snacks from the local children. Like, I don't believe it. So don't be littering, guys. Alright, so I'm going to go throw on my eyebrows and some mascara, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. I hope that those spooky stories freaked you out just a little bit. I'll be back. Alright, so now the answer to the question that nobody asked. Do I think this place is haunted? Yes. Yes, I do. 100%. I read a lot of warnings, like the last 2 stories that I told gave very intense warnings. They were like, this place is not for the faint of heart. Like, be careful if you go. Respect the land, respect the spirits, respect the past. Like, just be sure to be so careful. Like, when you leave, sage yourself. Like, don't go into this not expecting to experience something or like feel something or even be followed home by something. It's believed that there has been seances practiced at this land, like animal sacrifices, like a lot of crazy things. So be super careful if you end up visiting. If you have visited, I would love to know your experiences. If you have a place that you'd like me to talk about, do some research on, like really find the history behind the places, because I like to figure out what makes each place haunted. Like, is it oh my god, what the heck? Ew. Is it the past? Is it something that happened in the present? Is it poltergeist? Like, what is it that makes this place spooky? I'm super excited for my future videos, so if you'd like to see those, definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell, like this video, comment on this video if you were spooked, or if you have a place that you'd like me to talk about next. All the stuff that I used on my face today is going to be in the description down below. I also will be posting every Wednesday at noon. So there you go. That's when you can expect to see me. I hope to post more often, and I will also be doing like hair tutorial videos on probably Saturdays. I don't know my schedule yet, but those are the days that you can catch me posting on YouTube. So if you're interested in how to do your hair in like Dutch braids, or how to curl it, or any of those sorts of things, stay tuned. Anyway, hope I scared you today. It was a lot of fun, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!